Good morning, everybody. Welcome. It is Monday, June 26th, and we are the Investing Bros, the most generous crypto community in all of YouTube. And we got a great show lined up for you guys today. We actually have a trifecta of things calling for some bullish scenarios coming on Bitcoin. Yes, this weekend was a little bit, sideways and boring and kind of making you question, hey, is this bull trend over for Bitcoin? But we got something popping up on the charts. We got two different things that I want to take a look at there that might be kind of insinuating a rally is coming, and also got some big news from Hong Kong. As while we wait here for further confirmation in the U.S. about spot ETFs, Hong Kong is moving forward. They're going to be having some ETFs over there for Bitcoin and Ethereum. These should bring increased prices to Bitcoin and Ethereum, but we're going to talk about that and more later on in the show. So make sure you guys stay tuned for the entire show today. Make sure you also smash that like button. And if you're new here, thank you so much for choosing us this morning. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel for great content just like this, where we cover the crypto and stock markets every single day. We look at the charts, we look at the news, everything you need to know so you can invest wisely for yourself. I got two great co-hosts this morning, starting off with the Florida man, Mr. T Shroom. How you doing this morning, T Shroom?
Tim, I am doing better than I deserve, way better than I deserve. I am back. For those of you who missed me last week, I am back from my military training, and I am loving civilian life. I got to admit, I forgot how it was, but I got to say it's pretty great, pretty great.
I was confused what you were saying there, because I was like, you weren't at training last week, but then I remember what you're saying is if people missed last week's whole series of shows, then they also missed your beautiful face, and then you're welcome
Correct.
back. That makes sense. Well, we had some interesting news, T Shroom. Speaking of military type of stuff, we've had some interesting news over the weekend over in Russia, to which sparks a great quote of the day for today from Michael Scott once again. Go ahead and share my screen. It's a good old episode, a Christmas episode. Michael Scott says it's a good thing Russia doesn't exist anymore. So that's going to solve all the problems, all the coups, all the issues of Ukraine. Michael Scott has solved it for us. What do you think about that first T-shirt room? And then we're going to throw it over to Piper.
Well, I actually was listening to a podcast this week. Mark Andreessen was on the Lux Friedman podcast, and I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Extremely insightful. But Mark was talking a little bit about how the blueprints for the nuclear bomb was actually communicated to Russia by some Russian nationals that were involved in the project, I believe, or something like that. But it really made me wonder what the world would be like if those nuclear blueprints had never made it into Russian hands. They probably wouldn't have made it into the hands of other countries for another couple of years until their own scientific programs had developed them themselves. So, it just kind of gives you a little bit of imagination about what the world might be like. The Cold War would have probably been over before it even started, because Russia would never have even thought to challenge the might of the big old bullets that the U.S. had developed by then. But Russia still exists. Tim, you might be frozen. Uh-oh. Tim is either frozen or he is so utterly challenged by that thought that I brought.
He was absolutely shocked by you. Yeah, he actually just texted me and said that yes, he has lost internet. So we're gonna go over to Brocam here on Duo, and
Piper, how are you doing this morning?
Brother, I'm doing great. I'm my internet's good. I don't have a storm going on. There's a lot of people talking about storms in the chat too. So I think we may have some storms over there on the East Coast rocking people, but not for Florida and not for me. So where's my Brocam Duo?
Yeah, Florida has been getting a ton of rain. I will say it has been crazy. Whenever you look at like the drainage ponds around Gainesville where I live, they're all filled to the brim. And yesterday on my run, I go on like a 2.5, 3 mile run every other day, and there's deer everywhere on the trails because their homeland, which is like a swamp right behind my neighborhood, is completely flooded. And it also stinks really bad. And I don't really understand why it would stink. But the deer don't have nowhere to go, so they all get up on the running and biking trails. And I'm like, there's Tim, and Tim sometimes will pop up on the trail, like latched onto one of the deers.
I probably missed some great stuff. I don't know why. Like literally, we have great internet here, and the whole building just lost internet for a flash second. So I don't know if I'm down here, so I don't know if someone up there like
it's probably because they're running it on the Solana network.
DJ Tallman said, "Do you remember when he thought moving to BitBoy would stop the connection issues?"
That's funny.
So Tim has locked up again. He looks like he's getting ready to say "woo" right there. So let's go ahead and get into some names, and let's keep the show going while we're waiting for him. Let's go back to the duo cam here. I gotta find it again. There we go, right there. Bam. So let's go ahead and talk through some names here. T-Shroom, you got the names up there?
Yeah, I can go ahead and dive right on into those names. Our first commenters, according to my browser, was A Mellow Fellow and Crypto Pew Pew Cruise. Now, A Mellow Fellow left a very long message. We're going to go ahead and read it. It says, GM and MG bros and brosettes. It's a good morning indeed, and let me tell you why. First, because it's good. Second, because I'm better than I deserve. Thanks for coming to my good morning message. Now, better than I deserve. That's kind of a weird thing to say. I don't.
That's a very weird thing to say. I don't know. Straight. It's odd.
Is that some kind of coded cryptic thing about Russia? I mean, I don't know. Whose side are you on here?
Who was first today?
A Mellow Fellow. And then Crypto Pew Pew Cruise said 1, 2, and 3. A Mellow Fellow, Elo Brown, and me. I guess we will have to wait and see. So trying to get a little rhyme, trying to get a little bit of urban hip hop going on in there. Like it.
T-shirt. That's called He's Dropping Bars. I'm gonna need you to get up on the lingo here, man. He's dropping bars.
I'm a lost cause when it comes to being hip, guys. A Mellow Fellow. Let's see. We got Bobby Smoot, Mr. J. We got Degen Tollman. We've got Tim's internet connection. We've got Elo Brown. Let's see. We've got Justin Eubanks, Crypto Pew Pew Cruise, I believe I already read, Ninja Glock, Mike Play, Yer Navarro, Crypto JMP, Gia S, Joe, Nickel, and Elliot Locke, Puddles, Ninja Glock, Stevio, Shramato, saying 2,140 will be here before you know it. Do you know what he's referring to, Piper?
I do. That will be the final. That will be the end of Bitcoin mining. So there you go. Yes, I know what that is. Come on, man.
Yeah.
You trying to stump the chump here?
And then on the opposite side of the spectrum, we've got Stevie Shrum said hi, and it was Stevie Shrum's birthday yesterday. So happy birthday, Daddy-O.
Happy birthday, Papa Shrum. There we go.
Let's see. Al Bundles, Crypto Trappa, and Cryptex in the chat with that blue wrench. What is going on, Cryptex, and a whole lot more. Remington Peralt.
You got to give a shout out to Ihachi. That's Tobias over there from Chart Prime. Always try to give him a shout out, and Lex Caliber in here. So
absolutely. Well, guys, if we didn't read your names, it's because we haven't gotten to them yet. We're going to get to them here in just a second. Philly Skills 1428, Crimson Caravan Company, French Toaster.
That's it.
Robbie G. Pack Bandits.
Crypto Caravan Company is normally the last one to get in for the name calls.
Max PP and In the Moment. Brakoshi No Dinero. That's funny.
It's very funny.
Oh man, Curtis Rorick. Ayachi, I think we shouted him out as well.
Yeah,
so
we did.
I think we're officially having structural issues with Tim's internet connection. So
he said he may not come back in. It may just be yes. So we need to go ahead and go into the macro news, and let's go get that going. All right, guys, here we go. Transition to the macro news. Taking a look here on the macro news, nothing big coming in today, guys, at all. We got the Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index is going to be dropping this morning at 8:30 a.m. my time. That'll be 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That not a major one. You want to see this big red square. Tomorrow, durable goods orders month over month will be coming in tomorrow. Expected to be a little bit lower than what we have been previously. Expected to be down either a full percent or almost a full percent, depending on the consensus of the forecast. Wednesday, we're going to have a Fed Chow. He's a chow dog. Fed Chair Powell speech going on. that morning. Not sure what he's going to be talking about there, but he's got 2 days of it going on. One in the morning on Wednesday, and then Thursday he's got an afternoon speech. But the big one, guys, Friday, PCE. This is the biggest factor that they look at when they look at inflation numbers. And so right now, it looks like it's going to be either come in static or just below, depending on what you look at. So core PCE month over month, we're going to have the personal income month over month, and then the PCE price index year over year, currently at 4.4%. Consensus forecast says 4.1%. So let's go ahead and jump over to Trueflation. Trueflation up 1/100% this morning right here. Guys, it's up to 2.46. We might be closing that gap to 4% with this 2.46%. I'm being facetious. Not even close to what the federal government says we're at. Remember, Trueflation goes by the old data technique methodology of compiling inflation. So they're actually saying we're quite low. So, and last but not least, let's get into the liquidations, guys. In the past 24 hours, there have been $69.6 million in liquidations, a majority of those being longs. A lot of people this weekend getting into long trades, thinking that it was going to be going up. And as I was telling T-Shroom earlier before we started, I don't like trading weekends. And this is why, because there's just no volatility. There's really no movement. And right now we're seeing that it's coming in there at 51.8 million longs liquidated. So nothing too horrible right now looking at the liquidations. Big winner on the 24-hour liquidation window for the exchanges. Going to be coming in with Binance. So yeah, that's what we got there for the macroeconomic news. Tim, do you happen to have FOMC up?
Wait, so you guys hear me now? Good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here's the thing. So while I was away, my internet went in and out like 3 or 4 times. So if I get lost again, I'm gonna have to go find somebody. I don't even think the people here are here to do anything with it. So if something happens, I don't know if I'm gonna keep it around. But yeah, I have CME futures up. Let me hit refresh here. Oh, this is Investing Bros. Technical
what you could do is join
I also
on your
could do is
5G.
share my screen.
You could join on your phone just vocally if you do have to resort to leaving.
It's holding up now long. It was staying like it would like operate like it would be online for like 10 seconds and then it would go off and then it go back on, and it's been weird. Anyway, so here we go. CME futures, nothing really changing from last week, guys. Technically is down a little bit, but we're still heavily expecting a 25 basis point rate hike this next month. Let's just see if they're continuing to say that that's going to be the peak. Yeah, we're holding in November, holding in September, holding in November, holding in December. Let's see if we still begin cuts. Yeah, so it's going to be similar to what we saw last week. The expectation is one more rate hike and then a pause for the rest of the year. And then the expectation is cuts should begin January 1st of 2024. Of course, a lot of stuff's going to happen between now and then. So don't necessarily set your hearts on that. But for right now, we still got what? How long do we have here? About a month left, 30 days left. Until we get the next FOMC meeting, but it's pretty high probability we're going to go ahead and get another rate hike unless something crazy happens. I would say it's going to take another massive bank crash, honestly, to change the mind of Jerome Powell and the Fed. And even that might not do it. Bitcoin fear and greed is still in the greed, but is down back to 55. That's actually a good sign because the price is really not that far down. Yeah, I think it's down about 1,000 from where it just hit on Friday. Was it Friday we got up to 31, or is it Saturday? I don't know. I think it was late Friday. We were up over 31,000, and we got all the way up to 65 on the Fear and Greed Index. Now we're down at 55, despite the fact that Bitcoin's sitting pretty much at 30,400. This is a good sign to me. You love to see it. I missed everything else that Piper said, so I'm gonna have to go back and watch the show a little bit later to see what else is big here in the economic front. But
Tim, I just want to know
crap about you, Tim.
Tim, I just want to know, do you have any of those shorts that they're showing there? Have you been looking for those shorts because it's showing up in your ads?
I really have been thinking about getting into some extreme biking. and here's the thing, man. I don't know. T-Shirt, have you ridden a bicycle recently? Piper, have you ridden a bicycle recently?
I have.
No, I have not.
I have to ride a bicycle because my dogs will escape and go down the road, and the only way I can catch up with them is if I hop on my bicycle.
Well, here's the thing, man. as a kid, I rode a bike all the time, no problem whatsoever, right?
Uh-oh.
I rode a bike about a year ago, so it's been a while. But about a year ago, someone's like, "Oh, Tim, do you want to go on like a 10-mile bike ride?" I was like, "Yeah, I did this all the time as a kid." I don't know why my butt was freaking on fire. So maybe that's why. Maybe it knows that I need these pants because I'm telling you, dude. As an adult, when you're a kid, you can get away with a lot of stuff. As an adult, you need these butt pads heavily if you're going to go for long bikes. So it's not
No
even
comment.
necessarily that. You
No
need
comment,
it. All right,
Tim.
so right here, you guys, there's even been a price drop more recently. So you decide which one you prefer. What is this? All right.
Oh.
We got a lot of stuff here.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. So anyway, yeah, let's what do you got, Tim? Let's go to your charts and let's check it out.
I'm a little
man.
curious now. I know you guys got to read the names. I'm curious when my page refreshes to see what the comments are like. But I guess I'll have to wait. We can go ahead and go over to the charts this morning. I told you guys there's a couple interesting things that I'm going to take a look at this morning. The first thing I want to do, I think I'm going to start off with this, guys. I think I'm going to start with a look and a blast to the past. But this is currently what we're dealing with right here, guys. You guys can see I kind of have this drawn. There's a couple of different ways of seeing it. We do have a little bit level of resistance. That's not necessarily as significant. I'm keeping my eyes more on this kind of a flag that we have a rising level of resistance, rising level of support. But even if we get rid of these, I can put them back up there simply here in just a second. Just looking at this action right here, this price action we had the other day. We rallied up here, could not get above 30,000 or 31,000, excuse me. Wick back down, shot up above 31, got all the way to 31, almost 500. And then we came back down. And we're kind of hesitating right here, right? And there's some people sitting here wondering, all right, are we actually going to break through? Are we actually going to start heading towards 32, 36, get up towards that 40,000? You know, not that I think that's going to happen. However, I was noticing, and you guys know in the past, we talked about the similarities between this market and all the price action we've had here and back in 2019. I want you guys to focus on some of this more recent price action we've had down here, rallying up, and then we hit a level where we kind of hesitate with the previous year-to-date high, and then we break through it. Oh, okay, I had already queued up. Never mind. This right, which one is this? I think it's this one right here. This right here. Excuse me. This is 2019. See, this is how confusing it is. It literally looks the same. I couldn't even tell which one was 2023 and 2019 because they're that similar. The price action that we're seeing happen here is extremely, extremely similar. This is back in 2019. This is now, yes, it's slightly different, but look at that little matchup. I went a little bit higher, actually, but that little matchup here, short correction, and then a pushback up barely above it, short correction. Let's sit here. Let's go back out to the regular frame, and let's hit play on this because this is rewound. That's why you don't see any price action. What happens over the next couple of days and weeks?
Wow. It's exhilarating to watch.
So
there's a lot of ups and downs.
How much was that pullback from top to bottom?
Say what?
How much was that pullback from the top to bottom right there on that retracement?
Right here?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to pull back a lot more here if I continue to hit play. But let's see. I'll do that while I look for this. Let me see. It would be. I didn't grab my tool correctly. It would be about 25%. Huh. It ends up dipping more like 50% because again, what's going to happen here. I'm on the 4-hour chart. This is taking a long time. It ends up coming all the way back down to this green line, and that's before the pandemic. It ends up getting a 50% retracement all the way back here to this green line, but it does have a little bit of hesitation before that. You end up creating a little bit of a falling trading channel is what you're seeing kind of play out right here. You can kind of even see as it's playing out in 2019, that nice little falling level of resistance, this falling level of support. If I can grab my line. Come on now. There we go. That was a little bit of a falling wedge even. It ends up falling like this, coming all the way down here towards the green line. When is it going to actually come down? There we go. Breaks through, doesn't even respect that fully. It ends up breaking down to the green line. Why am I on the 4-hour chart? I don't even know.
Tim, I will say that somebody had an entry on that trend line and waited weeks, and it never touched it before it dropped.
Yeah. long story short, guys, that was a lot. That took me a little minute. This is looking very similar to 2019. That's my first point, guys. And again, I'm not even going to necessarily make like a huge like pull and say, hey, this means that we're shooting up to 50K. Even if we just had a nice pull, I think taking the percentages and saying, well, in 2019 we rose by X%, so we have to do the same thing. It's not really how it's going to work out, but I do think that we're going to get a little bit of a push here. And again, I'm still keeping my eyes on these levels sitting here around 36K. If we break through there, I've seen a lot of people calling for 38. I think recently Crypto Face said something about 38. So there's a lot of people who use Market Cipher that have been attached to 38. I don't necessarily see anything of significance in 38. I think we blow through 38. We end up going to about 40, maybe 42. Realistically, though, I'm setting my targets. I think that 36 is going to be hard, and that has to do with the Fibonacci. If we go out to the daily chart, let me go ahead and zoom out here and pull down these indicators because they're kind of distracting for just a second. Those of you who have not watched this channel that long, you guys know we've talked about these levels of significance with Fibonacci going up to the top here. Oh, come on now. Down to the bottom. And you guys are going to see after wrestling with and breaking through 0.236, the next level of significance right there about 36. Then you got 42. And then if you hear the people talking about 50K, they're talking about the golden pocket up here. That's what we did back in 2019. We went up to the golden pocket. I think it's a little rich to say we're going to do the same thing again. Do not be surprised. I'm not going to be surprised at all, everybody, to see the price of Bitcoin. I've said this before. I think there's a chance we actually drop back down to 25.2, maybe even go down and fill the CME gap down at 20,000. But I actually think there's a decent chance, guys, we end up bouncing between these for a while, maybe come down and touch this 25, and then we make our decision. Do we want to come down at some point? Wow, I'm deep into the year. That's not how that's going to work, guys. It's going to be more like this. We come down like this, and then we make our decision. Do we want to come down to 25 in December, to 20,000 down in December, and then make our rally later on in the year? Or do we go ahead and hold the 25.2? Still a lot to play out there to determine that. Either way, this TA's day is getting away from us. This is going to be a fun clip for this evening. We're looking at a possibility of a move to the upside. Let's look at some support, though, as to why that absolutely could happen. It's not just the fractal of going back and comparing 2019. Let's pull up our oscillators here, and we're actually going to – come on now. We're actually going to pull up our MACD here. We don't look at MACD that often. Let's go ahead and minimize these others just so we can kind of see the MACD more clearly. You guys are going to see when we go out to the monthly charts, something is happening on the MACD that has not happened in a long time. And, oh, my goodness, this sucks. I don't know what is even happening here. I'm borderline going to just delete these other ones and pull them up here in a second because this is absolutely killing me. Have you guys noticed that TradingView got rid of the auto and log button once a freaking again? And this is annoying because it's very easy to fix things with that auto button. Now it's a complicated step. You have to come up here and you have to hit auto, and then you have to go in here and hit it again. And it's just all this chaos. All right, sorry about that, everybody. MACD on the monthly. This was the point here. Is about to cross daily. It's about to cross bullish here in just more than likely within this next month. I want to keep your mind on this, though. We've done this before. This isn't the oldest chart in the world. It's a monthly chart. So there's only so much data you're going to get from it. We also crossed when? Back in June of 2019, before we had a little bit of a fallback. It was mostly the pandemic that brought us back down into the red, but we at least had a 50% pullback. Just because we're seeing this doesn't mean that the bull market has started. But when we're looking at this, I told you guys right here. Let's look at here. We crossed green. We had one good green month, and then we moved to the downside. We dropped by 50%. Are we going to see that same type of thing play out in the fractal kind of concept? We're going to finish the month of June. We're going to cross. And this time it's going to be July. July is going to be the first green month on the MACD. We're going to go set those new highs, 36K, maybe 42K. Hey, who knows? If we get enough momentum, maybe 50K. But we're going to set that and then pull back once again. Are we going to pull back 50%? Possibly. Are we going to pull back 40, 30%? Just because we did an exact percentage back in 2019 doesn't mean we're going to match it exactly. But it's something to keep your eyes on. I've said this before. I don't think this is the start of the bull market, but we are seeing signs of bullish activity happening, and this monthly MACD is confirming that for us. It is looking very nice. Now, I got to go through the process, guys. Let's go back down to the 4-hour chart, and I'll just go ahead and go through these annoying steps to do this. Boom. Got to take these off. Let's take a look when I go back to my indicator. I got to pull back up my favorites. I got to pull back up my oscillators right here. I got rid of my I'm going to go back and pull up the primed RSI here, but a little bit later. The other thing I'm liking that I'm seeing here when we're looking at our oscillators, guys, is the fact that we are dropping here on the 4-hour chart. We're actually even below the zero here, despite the fact that we're setting these higher lows. What do we call this? This is called bullish divergence, everybody. These lows and these lows, we're moving to the downside with the oscillators, we're moving to the upside with price. That is a bullish sign right there. Yes, we got a little bit of blue dot right there, but on the daily chart, it's looking a lot better. Let's see. Do we get our overbought flash? Yeah, we did. And the fact that we got that overbought flash of the red triangle and we're not necessarily moving too terribly fast to the downside, I think that's one that's going to be ignored as we continue to move to the upside, as the MACD on the monthly chart insisted, as that fractal insisted. If we were to fall back down, though, guys, if we were to see some bearish action, because it's not necessarily a done deal thing that we have to move to the upside. Let's take a look at our fixed range volume profile going back to April of this quarter. This quarter, we want to look at quarter 2 of price action. Keep your eyes on the value area high sitting back here at 29,500. I'm going to be very surprised if we were to fall all the way back down to the point of control. In fact, I think what you're going to look at is potentially a previous peak back here at 28.4. We talked about this back here just a little bit ago when price was rallying up here towards 31,000 but couldn't make it. I was one of the ones that said I don't think that we're falling back all the way to this level just yet. I think we have further to go to the upside. However, in technical analysis, you always want to be prepared. If something were to flash, if we were to get some sort of news story that suppresses the price, if we were to get fresh FUD that pushes us down, watch for these different levels, starting off with 29.5. And then if that does not hold, about 28.5 or so, back to this peak we had back in May on the 29th. Those are levels I'm looking for here on Bitcoin. And you know what? There was so much chaos in all of that technical analysis. I'm going to go ahead and just do a very quick flash on Cardano. Nothing necessarily crazy happening. Guys, I'm going to hold up to what I've been saying before, just refreshing. If this is your first time watching, I apologize. It's been a fun show, but it's been a weird show. We're usually a lot more coordinated than this. I still believe Cardano could rally with a Bitcoin rally, potentially retest this former support and turn it into resistance somewhere between 38 to 40 cents. But like I just said with Bitcoin, that we should be expecting a rally and then a fall. Same thing with altcoins. I'm expecting a rally and then a fall. And with Cardano, I'm looking at potentially new lows down towards 18 cents, maybe even down as far as 14 cents. The bad side is that's if you're holding Cardano, you're going to lose a lot of money. The good side is if you want to gather and get more Cardano, that's going to be very, very good price action, because I still hold to my prediction. I think Cardano could get somewhere between $7 to $12 at the top of the next bull market. So the cheaper you can buy, the better. So there's a little part of me inside that's like dreading this fall because I hold Cardano, but there's another part of me that's like, well, won't be the worst thing in the world. I could go gobble up a lot of ADA and set myself up for a very nice bull run. But that being said, guys, that's all the TA I have. I'm going to throw it over to Piper for some Ethereum, possibly even some XRP TA. This is the Investing Bros, where everything goes crazy every single day. Glad you guys are watching. Make sure you smash that like button. Piper, what are you seeing this morning?
All right, Tim. So looking here at Ethereum, guys, you can see that we're continuing to get rejection on our 887 here, the top of the platinum pocket on our fibs. Also, give it up here in this range also, it is the upper trade band of the predictive ranges. For those that don't know, I talk about this a lot. And what it is you've got these lines. Let me go ahead and turn off the fibs real fast just so people can see it. You got these lines right here, these frames, this upper purple and lower purple are the frame of the predictive ranges. They print all the way, like way back. And they are predictive lines of resistance and support. This delta line right here running, that's a blue line right there, is the 50% line of it. And we typically trade between the two gold bands. You can see triple rejection there on the upper trade line of our predictive ranges. But when we throw on top here, we can actually see that the candle closes have been under the 887 of the Fibonacci's. So this blue line here, this is the MATS. This is the moving, it's a moving average trend sniper. So it kind of gives you an idea by changing color what the trend is. And right now we are staying bullish on this with a lot of support bouncing on the MATS and the support bouncing on a breaker block here, which is a former order block now turned into a breaker block. So a lot of support bouncing here on the liquidity from this breaker block still off the MATS, just kind of pinned right here in between the 887 and that MATS. So I do suspect that this is going to continue sideways here for a little bit. If we do come down, watch for this trend assist, or possibly you see the blue line right there that is running right on top perfectly of the 786. And you guys know the 786 is a nice bounce point a lot of times for entries on trades. So that coming in at about 1825 on those. That trend assist coming in at about 1841. And currently right now, the mats and the breaker block coming in at about 1875. So there is where I would be looking at. Yeah, shout out to YouTube Crux, and I am not a pogue, not a pogue. I actually did stuff in the army. I hate this guy, man. Looking here, guys, on the oscillators, you can see that we do continue getting bearish divergences here, but we're getting very small pullbacks until we hit support. Who let the dogs out? And then the bounce here coming up on the zero line, I'm thinking we're going to see. If we take a look here at the trend fusion, you can see that the money flow index is coming down, but the trend fusion line is about to hit that zero line also. And we did get this engulfing candle pattern on the RSI primed coming in right here. So it did give us an indication of downside, but like I said, we're hitting strong support right now. I will say, though, that the histogram and the fast mover both have a sharp drop on them. I would be watching for the possibility of that 1825, 1800 range to come into play sometime today or tomorrow before we find a bounce back up into the platinum pocket. So that's what I'm seeing there on Ethereum. Let's do a quick run through on XRP, and then we will pass it over to T-Shroom, who can be telling us about the market open. So looking here on the XRP, guys, we are right now bouncing. Let me go turn off my trade lines. Thank you very much. Sitting right now, guys, we are hitting right now on the 382 of the Fibonacci's. We are underneath our MACD, the MACD. We are underneath the dynamic reactor here. You guys can see that right there, that nice rejection off of that. But right now, the trend assist is, even though it's green, it's in a downwards angle. We're almost at the bottom of the cloud. I would say, I'm going to have to say that if we do come down to, it's probably going to be around the 47 cents line, the 0.47 there before we get a bounce again. But it is looking a little weak, and it kind of looks like we may have a head and shoulders coming in here, guys. Right there, and then right there for the other shoulder. So I would be watching XRP closely. XRP is looking a lot more weak than the other tokens, even though money flow is about bottomed out here and the RSI is about reset. So be careful with any trades on XRP right now because we could easily be at the bottom of a lot of these oscillators for upside move, but we do have, like, again, this head and shoulders. There's the right shoulder, there's the left shoulder, there is the head. And if we were to break that, let's go see what that would look like just real quick before I pass it back over to you. Go to the head. Thank you very much. About down to here. Yep, that's good. I'm just eyeballing this on a quick dirty one here, guys. So let's go. What would that be to that would put us down to about 44.5 cents, which would make sense. Give the liquidity grab here under that, break the 236, fake out, and then pull back in sharp. So that's what I got there, Tim. If I had to say what I'm seeing, I think that's what I'm seeing.
It also makes a lot of sense because XRP had a nice little run kind of by itself while the rest of the space, Bitcoin, other altcoins, didn't do much. And I think a lot of it was anticipation of the Hinman files being really damning. And I do think the Hinman files are going to be a great thing used in that lawsuit. But I think people were expecting a little more oomph from them. And so now we have a little bit of a suppression, I would say. It would make sense for some coins to be able to go to the upside, where XRP, after getting its explosive run here a little bit ago, maybe takes a little bit of a cooling off period. That does not mean XRP is done. It just means they had their explosive rally a little earlier. I wanted to reference, before we jump into the market open with T-Shroom, I want to reference a comment in chat here. Anonymous, shout out to Anonymous. He said, this is a good point right here. BlackRock won't buy Bitcoin above 30K. They will create market manipulation and then buy below 25K. So we will have another golden opportunity. And there's elements, I don't know exactly where he's going with this, but I actually agree. I agree that BlackRock is not going to make that many purchases above 30K, which is one of the reasons why I'm kind of holding off from saying 42 or 50K. I think 36 is more realistic because it's still within striking distance of where they like buying, but they don't have to buy anywhere up there. They can get the momentum going. If they can get whales and retail institutions to just get that price up to about 36K, then they can enter their shorts. They can liquidate those longs. They can suppress the price back down at least to 30K, if not lower, because they probably have a little buying zone, probably between 25 to 30, that they're saying, hey, when we see price down here, let's accumulate more. But Anonymous, you're absolutely right. That's actually one of the reasons why my prediction for that peak that we're going to have probably next month is 36. I would love to be wrong. I would love to see a 42K Bitcoin and then take some profit there. But I want you guys to be prepared. This is not financial advice. Prepare yourself, though, for a potential taking profit opportunity if you are into the trading game. If you're in this for the long hold and you just want to accumulate more and more and more Bitcoin, keep DCAing, keep looking for little dips. That's your thing. But if you're trading Bitcoin, I really, really, really caution you guys on assuming that the bull market has started. We didn't even talk about it today, but the Bitcoin dominance continuing to climb. Guys, Bitcoin dominance does not climb in a bull market. It falls. That's another piece of evidence we are not in a bull market. Anonymous said later on in the chat, he's also said, hey, watch when you're looking at the next altcoin to buy, you're looking at when Bitcoin gets back down around 25K. I think Anonymous is out here dropping some great alpha in chat. I 100% agree. It's not time to be buying alts right now. You maybe swing some alts, trade some alts, but if you're buying for the long haul, I don't think this is the right opportunity. I think you're waiting for a drop. When you see Bitcoin get back down 30K, 25K range, you see alts approaching their bottoms for the bear market, maybe setting some new ones. That's your cue. Boom. Let's go ahead and jump on in here and start accumulating again for the real bull market starting, again, December or January later on this year. So great stuff there. T-Shroom. It is now 9:37, which means the markets have been open for 7 minutes. Are we seeing anything explosive happening over there?
Explosive is not the word that I would use, but you can definitely go over to my screen. I've got C3.ai pulled up. This isn't a name I've been watching. I went ahead and took a position in it down here, but it's facing some resistance here on this line of resistance at $35.34. Just a name that I have been following. It seems like now is not a terrible time to go ahead and enter a trade. It kind of failed to find support right here. But now it's trading above that, which is nice. And then also, if you look at the 4-hour Bollinger Band, it's found a nice kind of conclusion here, and it's bounced off that Bollinger Band, is moving back towards the midline. So that's kind of what I'm seeing over on C3.ai. It's up more than 4% this morning. Another name I wanted to point out is Tesla. So Tesla kind of looks like the NASDAQ today, is finding some nice support here, just above $250. So it's down today. It's down 0.9%. But I think that again, if we zoom out to the monthly chart, I've been saying this again and again. If you zoom out to the monthly chart and look at the Bollinger Bands, this name is just now crossing that midline, which its peers, Microsoft and Apple. I don't know. You may find it inappropriate to call Microsoft and Apple Tesla's peer, but its peers have already come up and tested that higher band of the Bollinger Bands. That's Microsoft, and there's Amazon, kind of proving what I'm saying there. So I think Tesla, also Google, in a similar situation. It hasn't gone up to that midline or that top line. It's crossed the midline. And then Tesla, it has crossed the midline, got faded all the way back down, got clapped back down. But I would say, if you take a look at it on the 4-hour, you can kind of summarize this movement here as regrouping, similar to what is going on over at Bitcoin, regrouping for a move higher, in my opinion. Well, let's go back to our traditional market open here. I just wanted to show you guys some names that I'm actually in right now in some trades. Since getting back from military training, I've decided to go ahead and trade again. So that's what I'm doing. All right, energy coming in green on the natural gas side, and then slightly red on oil. Your NASDAQ, your Dow Jones, and your S&P all coming in green, with the NASDAQ leading the way. So that's a pretty positive movement. You're seeing a rotation out of the majors here in crypto. Bitcoin and Ethereum selling off a little bit. You can only assume, so far, quick summary, that money is rotating into U.S. equities here, as you're seeing movement upwards. So while Bitcoin and Ethereum are kind of reloading, investors and traders are going to go ahead and put their money to work in assets that are going ahead and moving to the upside. I wanted to show you guys something about BNB. I've got it pulled up here in just a second, but let's go ahead and round out the rest of the crypto watch list. AVAX, looking pretty good, up 1% this morning. AGIX down 1%. Cake, this one's probably going to be leaving my watch list soon, guys, but it's down 3.4%. Yeah, so mixed, very mixed movement this morning in the first 11 minutes of trading. Now I've got something pulled up here for BNB. Take a look at this, guys. You know, I'm a huge fan of these monthly candles and their relation to the Bollinger Band. So take a look at this. This is Bitcoin. It kind of looks like Tesla, right? How it's like just barely peaked above that midline for the Bollinger Band, but is still trading below it for the most part. Whereas if you look at BNB, this is Binance Coin, it has gotten clapped. It didn't even really get to test that midline very well. It did back here in November, but since then it has not been able to really even touch that midline. And it got about as high as 300. Well, if you go to the wick, 350 per coin, but just got clapped and is now back down trading towards its lows for the last 2 years. So something's going on over at Binance. It's definitely underbought. And I would say, there could be an opportunity if you're a believer in what they've got going on over there at Binance and the Binance Smart Chain. It is a very easy ecosystem to navigate in. Fees are very low. So I'm not necessarily, saying that this isn't a good opportunity. It could be a good time to start to DCA into Binance again, if you are a believer in that thesis. But the Binance the exchange did just get rejected in Belgium. They got told to go ahead and move up and move on out of operations in Belgium. But who knows how long that's going to last before they let them back in. So that's going to be our crypto. Let's go ahead on back down the line here. Metals actually looking good this morning. I'm not exactly sure what the fundamental for that is. It may just be purely technical, but silver and gold up. Silver up 2.4% spot. Pretty good movement there. Your mega cap tech stocks are mixed, very mixed. Google leading lower. Tesla leading lower 1.2%. And then Google not too far behind, down 1.1%. Your green names on your mega cap tech stock list is Apple, Amazon, and I won't include ALB, but ALB is on there as well. That's like a little Tesla minion. So there's your mega cap tech stocks, and your chips, AMD and Nvidia are also green this morning. Moving on past bonds, looks like it's mixed as well, as the 5-year yield is down, but the 2-year yield is up. So more backwardation there, more inversion of the yield curve. Not what you want to see if you are a American economist, but hey, there it is. Looking into the cannabis industry, cannabis is up this morning. Not really sure why that is. And then your mid-cap tech stocks are doing pretty well, with C3.ai holding on to the gains this morning that it's been able to capture. Now, we'll point out, also, I have also picked up some Coinbase. This is not what I want. Hold on, let me go to a single chart. But this is, let's go to Coinbase really quickly here, guys. So Coinbase, not on the monthly chart. Well, really quickly, I mean, you can see how it's pretty low compared to Tesla and Bitcoin. Relative to that midline of the Bollinger Bands. But let's go to the daily chart here. Just really quickly, I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on this, but you can see Coinbase starting to pull up and out of its equilibrium zone on the daily chart, making a move for, hopefully this is going to be one of those spikes where it moves up from this midline up 33% in the matter of 3 days. So hopefully that's kind of where I've entered, and I'll be looking to take profits probably around $80 per share. But this could also easily be a long-term hold, guys. I mean, this is Coinbase. You can see historically the prices have gotten easily into the triple digits, well into the triple digits, into 200 there. So hopefully that's going to come at some point, maybe with the positive passage of a BlackRock ETF. Rest of your mid-cap stocks doing pretty well. Actually, big banks doing really well this morning. Big oil doing pretty well this morning, despite crude being down 0.2%. So let's go ahead and swing back up to oil energy before we leave. And yes, you can see energy is ticking green this morning. All right, that's going to be our market open, guys. Was anything there worth remarking upon? Perhaps Tesla, perhaps some of the movement there. What do you guys think? Or are we ready to get into stories?
Yeah, I think it was good stuff, and I think that our show is a little delayed today, so our timing is delayed for sure. Really quick, community. We got to get into stories here in a second if we're going to cover everything we want to talk about. Community, you guys need to know Wednesday we'll be joined by some reps from Kadena. I want to make sure you guys understand. This is not going to be a sponsored interview. We are not sponsored by Kadena. We're not recommending anyone go buy Kadena, but we want to use it as an opportunity to learn more about things that they're working on. Those you don't know, because I refreshed my understanding of it a little bit this morning, it is another proof of work protocol kind of built to help with some of the scaling solutions of Bitcoin. So it's an interesting project. Yeah, it's an interesting project. So you guys can make sure, come in Wednesday, you're going to learn a little bit more about Kadena, KDA. It's going to be great. With that said, though, let's go ahead, T-Shroom, and get into some of those stories with about 15 minutes left for the show.
Absolutely. Yep. All right. And I've got a graphic up here. It's posted on Twitter. If you guys would like to share the show, we're going to have Kadena on Wednesday. And you guys, this is on Twitter, so you can go retweet it at Investing Bros. Let's go ahead and get into the stories here, guys. Starting off with HSBC, Hong Kong now lets customers trade Bitcoin and Ether ETFs. Does not say whether or not they are spot ETFs. My guess is that they are not. My guess is that they're futures ETFs, but they're only going to be traded and available to folks living in the special administrative region of China, and that now allows customers to trade Bitcoin and Ether exchange-traded funds listed on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. Listed by this company CSOP. So that's something to look at. That's pretty interesting and exciting. I will point, the important part to note is that it's only within this special administrative region, which is, a very privileged few of the Chinese people. But the mainlanders, which is billions of people, will not have access to these ETFs through normal channels. Of course, some will figure out ways, but the majority of them are not going to even think about doing that. The SEC, moving on, the SEC approves first leveraged Bitcoin futures ETF, a bizarre move from the SEC given the wider ETF landscape. But the volatility shares 2x Bitcoin strategy ETF is scheduled to launch on the Chicago Board Options CBOE BZX exchange next Tuesday, June 27th. That is right around the corner, guys. That's tomorrow. So very, very exciting there. We got to talk about this one. Piper, how crazy is this that they have just passed a leveraged ETF when they have not even passed a spot ETF? Oh, you're muted, buddy.
You are muted.
No, I'm not. I'm just moving my mouth. I'm prepping for the words to come out.
Prank.
No. Look, I can't even trade leverage without a freaking VPN in the United States, but you're going to approve an ETF to do that and not give us a spot ETF? I don't know, man. It just, I don't know what their train of thought is at the SEC. Like, I think they go, here's all of the approval stuff, and Gary Gensler closes all, his 19 lizard eyes and throws a dart, and whatever hits is what gets approved that day. I don't know what's going on over there.
Now, Tim, I've got a little bit of a curveball question for you because I don't know the answer to this question. But okay, so you hear a lot about talking about may not want spot ETFs because they can lead to manipulation, and this is how the gold price is suppressed through ETFs. But what about the fact that there's only a 2x leverage to the upside ETF? Is that going to actually disproportionately benefit Bitcoin's spot price, or does it need to be a spot ETF for that to take place?
Let's start off with the first part of your question, T-Shroom, with the concept of they don't want to have leverage trading, or this, even the lie of like, we need to protect retail investors. Can we just go ahead and understand that that is not the thought whatsoever by Gary Gensler or anyone at the SEC? They don't want there to be a way that you can make money that they don't get to make money as well. That's what all of this is. It's very clear, like Piper just kind of insinuated, with the fact that they're now offering leveraged ETFs when they pretty much banned all of these other private exchanges from offering leveraged trading. The whole reason why is because they didn't make any money off of it. And then guess what? The people that hold them in check, Congress and the Senate, they got to make money too. So here's the thing. Why are they going to get away with this? Because they're going to find ways for those people in Congress to make money as well. And all of us who understand what's going on are going to kick and scream and yell. And it's not going to mean anything because most people are sheep. They have no idea. They're going to be fed some BS story about how the SEC is actually okay and it's protecting all of the individuals. So that's the first part of this, T-Shroom, is that the SEC only moves into what makes them the most money and the people that keep them in power the most money. And that is a business that pays them money that now wants to offer a leverage trading or an ETF. If you pay us, then yes, we will let you have an ETF. That's their philosophy. The second part of your question, will this help Bitcoin's price having leverage trading? Yes, it will in some sense. But the other thing is it's going to put some things in danger as well. Go back over the last 100 years, even further, and look at the financial problems that America alone has had. I'm not even going to get it back into the whole rest of the world. Let's just stick with America for right now. Going back to the early 1900s, that led into what became the Great Depression. It became over leverage investments. Sometimes it's good and you can build a lot of things, but it's like playing Russian roulette, or not Russian roulette. It's like playing roulette. I don't know why I said Russian, because Russia doesn't exist according to Michael Scott. It's like playing roulette. You could win on the first one and double your money, and then the second one and double your money, and then the third one and double your money, and then the fourth one and double your money, and you're on this freaking roll, and you just turned $50 into $1,000, and then just one bad roll and you ruin it all. That's the danger with leverage stuff like this. And when you look at the fact that they're allowing the certain people that are allowing to get involved with this, who are known for series of manipulative movements against their retail investors, this is simply just another legal way to steal money from the poor, to give to the rich, and the cycle will continue. I'm hoping at some point people wake up and realize that, but that's where we're kind of headed. So I'm probably not going to play with their little ETFs. I'm going to hodl. I'm going to still find ways to buy sats my own and then sit them in cold wallets. I'm not going to play with these ETFs, but others will, and it'll bring price increase and price decrease, and I'm just going to sit back and watch and wait for it.
Sure. Well, I can't blame you for that. Speaking of Bitcoin ETFs, we have posted a video on our Investing Bros channel. It's one of hopefully much more videos that are kind of more investigative in nature, and it's right here. So you can go to our channel, go to videos, and then right down here, people are loving it. It's my take on Bitcoin arbitrage via Grayscale's GBTC. It's something that we don't talk about a ton during the show, but it's a Bitcoin ETF. It was one of the first ones to be passed, and I give you my take on whether or not it is truly arbitrage. Well, we're short on time. We're going to keep trucking here. Japanese crypto issuers won't pay taxes on unrealized gains. Just long story short here, guys, there was some speculation that they might have to, and they're not gonna have to. Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT prices plunged as Machi Big Brother makes major moves. This is going to send ripples around. This may not have effects on other projects in the NFT space, but in one transaction alone on Saturday, Huang cashed in 19 apes at once for 651 Ethereum on Blur, worth around 1.2 million. That's quite a bit. So as we know, there's Big Brother Machi Big Brother. He's in some hot water. I think he's suing. Who is he suing? Suing somebody. So he's probably looking to liquidate so he can pay those lawyers 1.2 million to win that case. Do you guys remember who he's suing? I cannot remember.
Yeah, I was just trying to wrap my brain. I can't remember. I can look it up though. Hey, don't share my screen. That's unless you just want to see my.
The crypto sleuth. He's kind of like
Zach XBT.
Yeah, Zach XBT. All right, moving along here, guys. Looks like Optimism has rebranded as OP Mainnet, so just keep an eye open for that. If you see OP Mainnet, it's not a scam. Optimism has actually rebranded. They're trying to be more super chain-like, so not going to dig too deep into that one. But we got two more exciting crypto partnerships here. Near Foundation partners with Alibaba Cloud to accelerate Web3 growth in Asia. And if you swing by, I closed the tab, but if you swing by the bubbles, Near is actually popping off this morning. It's doing really, really well. So that is why Alibaba, for those of you who don't know, is kind of the Chinese version of Amazon. If you took away the Amazon part where you buy stuff online and they deliver it to you, it's just the cloud, just the AWS portion of Amazon. So Wait, no, what am I saying? Alibaba is the Amazon of China. They also do the delivery, the buy stuff online.
Silly T-shirt.
Oh, man. All right, moving along. ChatGPT headline here. ChatGPT plugin goes live for Hedera Network. So this one's really interesting. Could be explosive. Users can now view account balances through a network explorer or programmatically retrieve them via the Mirror Node Reset API, which the plugin will utilize. So very, very big information here coming out for Hedera. Let's see if they're really moving today. Probably not, just because of the macro pressures, but it's something that you may want to take a look at. HBAR, a very popular coin out there. I do not own any of it. I don't own any HBAR, not for any particular reason. Just there's so many Pokemons, I don't think you can catch them all. But that's going to go ahead and round out our stories for today, guys. We had some big ones, some big partnerships there at the end, especially for Hedera and the Near network. But I think we'll leave. Maybe we've got a couple minutes here. Maybe we'll talk about kind of what are some projects maybe we're looking at buying, or what is kind of the macro landscape. Or actually, I mean, one thing we could talk about: what the heck is going to come out with the PCE numbers on Friday? What are we thinking about that?
So
Piper, what we looking at?
So I think the PCE numbers, I think we're going to come in, I think probably neutral, honestly. I know that it said that one of them said a little bit low, the other one said a little bit high, but I think we're actually going to see it come in at neutral numbers. I mean, if I go back and look here again, just to double check, make sure not talking out, the other hole. Let's see here. It's coming in. It's forecasted at 4.1. So according to this, down 0.3% from where we currently are. But I think we're going to come in closer to neutral, just because it would be way too bullish for what the Fed Reserve wants to do for raising rates, possibly in the months ahead. So I don't know.
Yeah, I love crypto. Crux of Crypto called me out. Said T-Shroom with the chapstick on live. No sham in the man's game. It's right. I deeply loathe chapped lips, so I like to keep them unchapped,
supple,
and then also,
do you like your lips supple,
supple, puckering, some might say. Crypto Seth donated $2 of foreign currency. I think it's pounds. And he said, "Keep up the great work. Best show in crypto," which is a high compliment coming from one of the gym hunters.
It is. Absolutely.
As we're wrapping out today, though, there's one more thing I did want to show T-Shroom. One more thing that made for all of us Americans, especially if you're going to vote Democrat in the preliminaries.
Oh God, I love this.
Interesting.
Show it,
comparison
Tim.
Happening. Yeah, go ahead and share my screen. These are going to be your candidates, guys.
Uh-oh.
you guys want Joe Biden or what the heck? Like, this dude is like 69 years old. That's ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. But this is the president that I want. But, dude, I'm not even gonna lie. I need to find out more about some other policies that RFK has. But RFK slowly but surely is becoming more like I said before. Like DeSantis is probably my number one, the guy I want. I don't know at this point. If the election ends up becoming DeSantis versus RFK, that is going to be a very, very hard decision for you to make, because there's so many things that RFK is doing that I'm loving. I love DeSantis. I know what he stands for. I know his policies. I'm very much in agreement with him. But oh my goodness, RFK and you know what that guy going to meet, because we know Putin likes to have shirtless pictures. What if we had, with Putin still around, because you know Russia doesn't exist anymore, a meeting between President RFK and Putin, and it has to be a shirtless meeting? We're going to win that meeting.
Hey, Tim, go to the one where he's doing push-ups, because Alex Green said, "Is that for real?"
Yeah. Oh, this is absolutely for real. I gotta pull that one up.
Here, while Tim pulls that up, go over to my screen. I've got the Real Clear Politics Election 2024 pulled up, so you can see these are really usually very representative numbers. The national numbers here: Kennedy at 14 to Biden 64, and then DeSantis at 21 to Trump's 52. So things are that's where everything stands right now. But I'd say one thing I do not like about my boy DeSantis, my boss DeSantis, I should say, in the National Guard, because he's the governor of Florida, is that he said he's not going to decriminalize cannabis federally. So that's disappointing. You know, is that going to make me not vote for him? I don't know. But that definitely is not a tick in the right direction for T-Shroom, who is overexposed to the cannabis industry in my investments. But that's my own fault. That's my own fault.
It's 10 o'clock, but we're going to show the video here. So go ahead and go back. Oh, here. All right. So I'm going to back it up. Oh, is it playing sound? I don't need it to play sound. So he also clarifies, guys, this is like his fifth set. So like he's getting tired. So he's going to kind of tire out on the 10th push-up. Yeah, no, he doesn't extend. But when you got triceps like that, you don't need
back to the line.
Dude, all right, but look when he gets up, like this dude is free. The shoulder to tricep thing going on. It is, I mean, there are 20-year-olds who dream of looking like RFK. It is absolutely impressive. Ridiculous.
It's impressive.
It is pretty impressive. That's our future president. I'm hoping that'd be awesome for many reasons. But guys, that is all we have for you today. If you enjoyed this very, very chaotic stream, I'd like to promise you guys that this is not how things go. They never go exactly like this, but they never go exactly like anything. We are the Investing Bros, the most generous crypto community in all of crypto YouTube, but we also are known for our crazy streams. If that's something you guys love and you don't want to be bored, Monday through Friday mornings, 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you found your spot. Go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much, T. Schumann Piper. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning, same time, same place. You guys have a great day.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor, the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shrooms News got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.
Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros.